from your comic books. Gotham City's dynamic duo. The Cape Crusader and the Wonder Boy, kalaban nila ang mga crews. Holy smokes, Batman and Robin, oh my God, Batman and Robin, praise the Lord, Batman and Robin, shoot na shoot, Batman and Robin, let's do Bruce Wayne now and Dick Grayson now, they are a part of me. Si Mr. Panic ay papel ni Batman, si Robin ay si Robin Hood. The Cape Crusader and the Wonder Boy, lugod sa kanilang lugod. Holy smokes, Batman and Robin, oh my God, Batman and Robin, praise the Lord, Batman and Robin, shoot that shoot, Batman and Robin, let's do Bruce Wayne now and Dick Grayson now, they are a part of me.
My first vintage review comes from OC, the Sonny Chiba issue from the early 1990s. Regrettably, not all the movies reviewed in this here Sonny Chiba issue are actually Sonny Chiba movies. I also sat through the long, boring Filipino comedy ALYAS Batman and Robin. I did laugh a few times and was somewhat entertained by this disappointing musical. But let us read a few quotes from my 1992 review. Back in my 20s and 30s, I could easily read the small print that I used doing Oriental Cinema magazine, but now I need reading glasses at my old age. After over 40 years of trying to read subtitles, it's finally taking its toll on my eyes, and I need glasses to read what I wrote, which was... Let's see here. So many out-of-place segments ruin what could have been a hilarious satire of the old American TV show. Perhaps there are too many unnecessary characters, complex stories, excessive romance, and other distractions which take away screen time from the adventures of this Filipino dynamic duo. That's true. The two heroes do get romantic with the ladies, as you can see from this ballad, as Kimpi De Leon romances his leading lady. Man, I fucking hate that song, but musician Mondel Rosario offers a couple catchy ditties as well, if you like half-assed rockabilly and hearing a Tagalog version of At the Hop.
Let's be good na brad. Let us not be bad. Let's be good na parts. Let's be afraid of God.
Maybe the Filipinos should leave the rockabilly to the Japanese, and they should definitely leave the superhero action to the Japanese. As you can see, Joey De Leon makes Adam West look like Bruce Lee. Joey De Leon was a little funnier in the movie She-Man, Mistress of the Universe, directed by Tony Rees, who also directed ALYAS Batman and Robin. Other people involved in this farce include Dawn Zulueta, who dresses up like Wonder Woman at the climax, and I almost climaxed when I had a look at her in that outfit, although she's no Linda Carter. Anyway, Robin is played by then-teen heartthrob Kimpi De Leon, and this musical was the first time he co-starred with his real-life father, Joey De Leon, who plays Batman. Skinny comedian Rene Requiestas plays the Joker. He sang rockabilly and other comedies too, but this was one of his last movies because he died of cancer on July 24th, 1993.
Mag-ingat ka kay Gonzales. You better watch out. You better not pout. You better not cry. I'm telling you why. Mag-ingat ka kay Gonzales.
I guess I only understand about 10% of the movie's dialogue because random English sentences are scattered throughout the film.
Kevin, my brother. Yan ang gusto kong makita sa'yo.
As I understand it, many TV broadcasts and public speaking events in the Philippines are in English, but each area has its own languages and dialects for day-to-day life, candid communication, and private conversations.
Ito nga pala ang Batcave.
As an American, this movie struck me as being very cheap. But even though it was shot on 8mm film, it's of average budget by Filipino standards of its time.
Bat juice. Meron din kaming bat coffee.
I'm rating this movie just 2 stars,
Bat milk.
which makes it about vaguely adequate. For future reference, I go up as high as 5 stars, but only my favorite movies get 5 stars.
So as I understand it, you were a suburban elementary school student with an obsession for Far Eastern escapism. Because of what you saw on TV and in theaters in the early 1970s, you'd voraciously read magazines such as Famous Monsters of Filmland and The Deadly Heroes of Kung Fu.
Yeah, these old publications here really fueled my love of the movies and TV shows I used to watch. As you can see from the things on your lap, the periodicals really influenced me to get out my crayons and create my own handmade storybooks using fictional characters of my own design. Eventually, friends and relatives would pay for these handmade books, and so many books I had to draw twice, a page at a time, and I often traced them to make each homemade comic book look identical. These little drawings really made me interested in print media, and my father pointed out how impractical it was to copy everything again, hand by hand, over and over.
But I hear that if any publication inspired you, it was this very Kamen Rider thing you bought at San Francisco's Japan Center.
All the other superhero books that I bought were in Japanese, and so this Hawaiian export was the first English language text on the subject that I could get my hands on, and the rest is history. Looking back on it, it's a pretty badly made book with lots of typos. I can even show you some of this. And if you see here, the question is, why are their noses different? What it means is, why are their poses different? Because that's how they pose. That's the way the superheroes in Japan, they would pose. Also, another page. Isn't that a really great action shot? Isn't that beautiful? That's a beautiful picture.
I like the crotch shot, yeah.
Yeah.
So this book from Kung Fu Publications made you want to be a writer?
Yeah, thanks to Xerox machines from nearby schools, I was able to crank out all these crude fanzines with titles like Japanese Monsters, Japanese Movie Sci-Fi, and Japanese Monsters and Superheroes. Some of them were handwritten and unreadable, and at first nobody but my grandparents and a few classmates would buy copies, and most of these old newsletters have long since been destroyed or recycled or thrown away.
So, as I understand it, the next major milestone in your life was when you discovered other Asian film enthusiasts were also doing fanzines all over the continental U.S.
Yeah, yes indeed. It was now the mid-1970s, and the Japanese Fantasy Film Journal and Japanese Giants really changed my life, and people like Greg Shoemaker instantly became idols of mine.
So they accidentally taught you how to properly critique movies?
Pretty much. I decided to ditch the older fanzines like Japanese Movie, Sci-Fi, and other previous newsletters I cranked out, and I tried to imitate these other fanzines I had miraculously discovered. By now I had a focus and a clue. It's hard to say when my Japanese Movie Sci-Fi evolved into OC. In fact, I think there might have been a brief period where I was publishing both fanzines simultaneously. All these different Japantasy zines from all over the world would trade ads, and so suddenly I had 40 or 50 different subscribers from all over the country. I reached a point where I could no longer use the Xerox machine at the school my mother taught at because I was making more and more copies. Strangers were sending me checks to buy the magazines, and so I had to start putting money back into the business. I would take the bus to print stores and printers like CopyMed and Copyrama to make my zines, and it was probably in 1978 that I officially founded Oriental Cinema.
Well, thank you for joining us for the first edition of OC, the Webcast. This webcast is experimental. I don't know how many episodes we're going to end up making, or if we're going to keep on doing them, or if I'm going to only make a couple, but it's a new way of trying to bring OC back, since it did not last well in the 21st century, so I'm trying to bring back all the same humor and film reviews that the magazine was known for. And I think here, as we finish up our dinner, I think I'm going to enjoy some of this here wasabi, getting it ready to snort it up my nose.
Oh, man.
That's good stuff. Fucking A!